Well, as you can see behind me, the giant elephant in the room is that the suspension is mocked up. Now, I don't know why I don't have any footage of this. I think what happened is that I lost the memory card that it was on. Maybe it got corrupted. Maybe my hair is just extremely blonde and I forgot to film it. I don't know. But I'm new at this. This sort of thing happens. So I beg for your forgiveness. And I'll take you on a little tour of what I've got done over the past couple weeks. So bear with me and I'll make it up to you with something awesome in the future, I'm sure. So let's go see what I've got done since the last time I saw you. So let's do that. So some of the things that's changed is I've added this tube here. We've kind of got the shocks tacked in. As you can see, they're just on the lower control arms, just tacked in. And if you have a keen eye, you'll notice that these here are at less of an angle, so they're more straight up and down. I did that because halfway through building the other one, I realized that the engine was just not going to fit up through there. So let me get the hood off and I'll show you what we have going on. I also made these stiffening plates that kind of go here just to help clean it up. Those are just tacked in. These end caps I've got on there. So you can see that gives it a nice solid place for the bumper to get mounted. So the bumper is going to be some tubes that come out like this and then a big sweeping round tube like that. So let's get that hood off and I'll show you what I'm talking about. All right, so as you notice here, that it's a much bigger opening for the engine to come straight up through there. Okay, so this tube here, this goes back to here, this tube drops down to there. Now these mounts for the shock are temporary. Those aren't gonna stay. These are kind of like a universal one from a Jeep project. I ended up not using them. So that's what those are. I'm gonna do something different with those, more of a linear one here. So then that way, if I decide to run a bypass, I can mount that off of there as well. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now with the engine cage. There's obviously gonna be probably some more support tubes in here. I might do a removable tube across the back. I might even do a drop down tube to here. I haven't quite figured it all out yet. There's also gonna be some tubes here that are gonna hold the grill and the radiator setup. So yeah, like I said, I apologize for not filming this. I think, you know, I don't know. It's been a while. I got distracted by other projects and I might have just had a brain fart. I might have, you know, not hit the record button or I deleted it by accident. Frankly, I think I lost the card, but that's neither here nor there. We must move forward. So today, what I'm gonna try to do is get the bearings and the hubs all mounted in there and see if we can get the wheels on this thing. Then we get the wheels on, we can set it down and hopefully get the first view of what the front end is gonna look like with the wheels and tires. So fingers crossed I can do that and actually record it. So here we go. All right, so first thing we gotta do is get all this stuff in there. So what do we have here? We have the inner bearing, which is the larger bearing, okay? So that will go into the hub right here. And on these Bronco hubs, these aftermarket ones have the race already installed. So that'll just drop in there like so, and then get pushed in with a race pusher. Then that seal will go on top of that, okay? And then this is the outer bearing, which will go in like so. Then there's a thrust washer. Then there's this grooved washer. Then there's the actual spindle nut that will tighten down to 50 foot-pounds. Then this is a retaining washer that goes on top of that. And then you have the C-clip, which will go on top, hold everything together. So yeah, first thing we gotta do is pack these bearings. And I'll show you how to do that in 1 second. All right, boys. So first thing we need to do is we take the bigger of the two bearings. This bearing sits right inside here. And like I said, this is an aftermarket hub and rotor, so it has the race built into it. A lot of the factory ones, you have to press this race in yourself, so it's kind of nice having that. So then what we want to do, I'll take a big chunk of grease and just kind of put it in the palm of your hand. Now what we have to do is we have to pack this bearing full of grease. And they make special tools to do this called a bearing packer, but I like to do it this way. So you just take it like that. I like to put the open side down so it forces it through easier. And you just start smacking it in the palm of your hand. Like so. And as you go around, you'll see that the grease starts to poke through right here. So that means that it's packed. So then you just kind of keep rotating it and doing that. Now, as you're doing this, make sure that your friends, family, girlfriends, whatever, will know that you're out in the garage packing bearings and not doing anything else, because it sounds a little suspicious. Okay, and then once you're done, I like to just kind of go around the outsides and get grease on all of those bearings, around the top, around the inside, then just a little bit on the race, and then you just drop it down in there like that. Then you want to take this seal, and I like to just apply a little bit of grease to the inside, get that sucker all lubed up. Okay. Just gonna spread this out evenly in here. And that goes like that. So then you want to take a race tool here that basically pushes races in, or something else. You can do it with a regular hammer, just go around tapping it. I like to use this because it kind of goes all in at once, makes it a lot easier. And then you just hammer that seal in. So now what you'll see is that seal is perfectly flat around here. Okay, so then we simply take this and we slide it on there, and it'll basically just stop. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to pack the smaller bearing. So same process as before, pack this full of grease, and then this will go in like that. Okay, once you have that second smaller bearing packed, this part simply just goes in there like that. You just kind of push it in there with your fingers till it stops. So now that bearing's in, next thing is this thrust washer. So that goes in like that. Okay, now what you're supposed to do, or be able to do, is then put this keyed washer in there, and then you can put the locking nut on. But what I find is that on these ones, the locking nut won't fit on there. So what I do is I take the locking nut and I put that on first. So all that's in there right now is the thrust washer and the locking nut. You have to have this special socket that's keyed to fit in to that locking nut. Okay, so use that. And now what we're going to do is we're going to seat these bearings, because as of right now they're not fully seated yet. And that's why I can't fit the locking nut on there. So as I'm kind of tightening this, it's very easy, and it's pushing that bearing onto the spindle further. So it's so easy that I can do it by hand. Okay, so now we have to back that off. So then we take the keyed washer, you can see this little nub here, and that fits into a keyed slot on the snout. Okay, so that goes in. Then we take the locking nut and put that back on. So now what you want to do is you want to take that same special socket and your torque wrench, okay? Now make sure you use a torque wrench. You cannot use an impact gun. If you use an impact gun, you run the risk of crushing those bearings. Things aren't going to spin right. You're going to cause yourself a big headache. So you want to turn this on. And you want to set it to 50 foot-pounds. Okay? Okay. Now, once you hear it click that first time, you want to rotate the whole hub. Just a couple times. Okay. Then you want to do it again. And go back. Go to 50 again. Then same thing. Rotate the whole hub a couple times. And this is just helping that bearing seat in there properly. All the grease is expanding. It's just kind of finding its home. Okay. And same thing. Torque it down again. Okay, a couple more spins, a little more times for good measure. I like to do it 2, 3, 4 times. That way you know. So that's done. You want to take this keyed washer, and has the little tabs on it. Okay, those tabs are going to go in, and this will fit in there 8 different ways depending on how you have it lined up. So if it doesn't go in right, and these teeth here line up with the teeth of the locking nut. So if it doesn't go in the first time, just kind of pull it out, rotate it, and keep going. Okay, so then the next thing is this locking C-ring. So then that goes in, fits in a groove in the spindle. So this is one you have to expand, not pinch down, and that goes over. So get that in there. So there we go. So that's that for now. So normally on a 4-wheel drive, you'd put the splined hub in here, and then you'd have the locking free spool, but this is a 2-wheel drive. So I think they make a special cap that goes on here. I'll have to figure that out. But for now, that's where it's gonna stay. It doesn't need to be crazy because it's all gonna have to come apart, and I just wanna get the wheels on so I can check the suspension and stuff like that. All right, so by the way, the kit I'm using is this Stage 8 X-Lock kit. It seems to be pretty badass, makes it really easy, comes with everything you need. And they make it for different axles and stuff, so check these guys out if you're interested. All right, so now that we got all those done, let's get this thing up a little bit, put the wheels and tires on. You guys will get to see the big wheels. That's my surprise to you for the big mistake. You get to see the new wheels, and they are fire. Fire, bro. Fire. Fire. Holy moly, boys. I might have just messed up and built the coolest thing of the year. Whew. I mean, I need a wide angle lens. Holy shit. Oh, Fred Williams is my boy and all, but he ain't got nothing on me. So here they are, boys. The wheels, the big wheel reveal. Methods. Of course, we did the orange. The Hermes orange, the Hermes. Wow. Look at that stance, guys. Talking wide here. I'm in love, boys. Wow, let's get the hood on. See what it looks like with the hood. Whew. Look at that, fellas. Man, imagine seeing that thing coming at you. That is fire. That is freaking fire. Obviously, it looks like the camber is off a little bit. So I need some adjustments, but woo! I am digging that. All right, boys, that's a wrap for today. Like I said, sorry I lost the footage for building the engine cage, but the good news is I gotta redo a lot of it. So I want to redo how these coilovers are mounted, so you get to see that. Like I said, we're gonna add some more tubes, so I'm gonna make sure that I don't lose the memory card on that stuff. So that's good news. But man, I'm ecstatic how these wheels turned out, how everything fits on here. This thing is gonna have a badass stance. So I'm stoked on that. I'm really pumped. I can't wait to keep working on this thing and get the whole front bumper done and the grill, and it's gonna be killer. So until next time, boys, keep it real, keep building cool stuff.